Welcome to the Three Musketeers, the sibling podcast that understands your Disney addiction. I'm Jared.
I'm Amanda.
I'm Emily.
For this episode, we wanted to do something very special for the holidays, and we decided to do a countdown of our favorite top 3 episodes from our full catalog. We kind of wanted to introduce people to episodes that maybe they haven't listened to, maybe they joined the show a little bit later, and we just really thought that this was a fun idea to do a countdown of our top 3 favorite episodes. All right, so mine came in third. And mine in particular, I decided to do this episode because I really feel like sometimes we can be a little hyper-focused on Disney World specifically. So I wanted to do something that included all the parks. And that episode in particular is ranking park icons, and this is it. All right, well, let's go ahead and move on to the main topic. The main topic is Disney park icons that we rank. This is not a ranking system that is anybody else but ourselves. Obviously, we have our own favorites. We have our own least favorites. And let's actually start with the least favorite of ours. So just kind of going over how we ranked these. We all put these in order, 1 through 12. And we kind of added up the positions, and whichever one was the lowest score ranked the highest. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and go into the number 12 spot, and that is Earful Tower, which is at Walt Disney Studios Park in Paris. And that one ranked 32. So let's see. We had a 12th place, a 9th place, and an 11th place for Earful Tower. What's the reason you guys ranked this one so low?
I ranked it low just because compared to the other icons at the other parks, it's not something that's spectacular or anything that really stands out. It's a water tower with ears on it, which is really cute, but I don't necessarily think that it's a great icon for a park.
I agree with that. That's kind of why I ranked it so low as well. I actually ranked it number 12. So it was my least favorite, not necessarily because it's not cute and fun. This Earful Tower has actually been in 2 other parks before it was in Paris. So they just kind of move it around and place it somewhere. So it seems kind of like an afterthought, I guess.
Yeah, I really liked it whenever it was at MGM Studios before.
Me too.
But we had an icon then. Mm-hmm. This was just a cute accessory, basically.
Right.
Not the main attraction.
Exactly.
Yeah, I just don't think that it's like worthy of being like a main icon, in my opinion. It's just not. Right. It's cute. It's fun. It's just not special enough, in my opinion. It's a water tower.
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay. Yeah, I'm kind of glad you brought that up. It doesn't seem like an icon. It doesn't, right? So I guess that's why it ranks so low. That's why we don't really like it all that much. Okay, Cinderella's Castle in Tokyo is in the number 11th spot, and it had an overall rating of 30 between the group. So on average, 10th place.
Right.
Yeah, the reason that I ranked this one so low is purely because it's pretty much an exact replica of Disney World's castle.
Yep.
So It's beautiful, and I love Disney World's castle so much, but I wish that they would have done their own thing, something unique and not a replica.
Right. That was the exact reason that I chose it where I did, because it's exactly the same as Walt Disney World. And I feel like all of the parks should have their own unique icon.
Yeah, that would be ideal, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, same thing. I'm right on the same page with you guys. It's not original. It's just a copy. And I mean, we've seen Cinderella's castle before. Why not do something a little different? You know,
Especially because they're on like, you know, they're in two different countries. So if you have the ability to be able to see Tokyo Disney's and Disney World's, you want to see two different things. Like you're traveling really far to see those.
right?
But I feel like they are thinking that not everybody's going to go to see the one in Florida. So they want to have something just as spectacular as what Florida had at the time, because there wasn't another. Shanghai wasn't open. Hong Kong wasn't open. So they didn't have something else to see, something more unique, I guess.
Yeah.
That wasn't a princess castle already. Does that make sense?
No, it makes a lot of sense. I'd kind of like to see them do something like they did with Hong Kong and kind of update and replace and do something a little different.
Yeah.
So, okay. Well, going on down the list, or I guess up the list is kind of how I should state that. So coming in at number 10, we have the Ferris wheel, and that had a total overall score of 29.
Yes. This is at California Adventure, since Jared didn't mention that. And it's a Ferris wheel. I mean, it has Mickey Mouse heads on it, which is really cute, but it's a Ferris wheel. I don't feel like that's an icon. I mean, it is, but I don't know that it should be.
I think I kind of like it where it is. If it was anywhere else, I don't think it would work so much. But I kind of like it where it is because it gives you a feel of the old Disney and where Disney's roots came from in a sense of a park.
I ranked this one higher on my list. I think I ranked it at number 6.
You did rank it at number 6.
Yeah, because I get what Amanda's saying about it not really feeling like an icon, but I think for where it is, it does fit because the theme of California Adventure, at least part of it, is very like boardwalk, carnival, kind of, I don't know. It's not like the other parks. So I feel like it gets a more casual icon, and I'm fine with it. I think it's cute. That ride's fun too. It's scary though.
It is. Those carts move, like slide.
The swinging ones.
Yes.
Yeah, they have some that are stationary, but
oh, they do now. Whenever I went,
do.
there were none that were stationary. They all moved like that.
Yeah, no, the ones on like the very outside of it are stationary, and then the ones more on the inside are the swinging ones, and it's pretty terrifying. Probably one of the scariest rides at Disney.
I feel like this fit more with what their original vision of California Adventure was when it was a park celebrating California, but I feel like that's not what the park is anymore. It's kind of like Hollywood Studios where it has changed and it doesn't necessarily have the same identity as it used to.
It doesn't, but that whole area, the boardwalk area, is still the same themed. So I feel like it fits right there. Yeah, but it's still...
So it's not California anymore, it's Pixar.
No, but it's still a boardwalk, and like once you're on it, it's very, very boardwalk themed. Like there's games and all that stuff, and it feels like a summer boardwalk at a beach. So I kind of like the Ferris wheel.
Okay.
I don't think you're wrong, Emily. I mean, I did rank the Ferris wheel kind of low because I just think there's better icons. But I don't completely disagree with what you're saying. Like I said, I mean, it kind of brings the original Disney feel to the park as an icon, I think. All right, well, let's go ahead and go to number 9. This is Mount Prometheus at Tokyo Disneysea. We ranked this with 23 points.
I totally disagree with where this one is ranked.
Really? Okay, why?
And if you've gone, and I know it's different for me because I've been to Tokyo Disneysea, if you've gone and experienced seeing it in person, it's breathtaking. It's just amazing. And the volcano actually works. It lights up, and no other park really does anything like this. It's so unique. It's an icon volcano with like a whole city in front of it, and it's breathtaking when you walk in and see it. And there's a ride inside it, which is pretty cool too.
See, you ranked this 4th on your list.
Right.
Emily and I both had 9 and 10.
Right.
So I ranked it 10 just because I mean, it's a mountain, and I like Mount Everest better.
You haven't even ridden it.
I haven't. You're right. I have not been to Tokyo Disneysea, but I don't know. It's just it didn't find a place on my list higher than 10.
I think if you saw it in person, you'd feel differently.
Maybe so, but
I'm just curious.
This is just a personal ranking as it stands right now. And I mean, it could possibly move up drastically on the list if I go and see it in person.
If you knew that it may have connections to the SEA, would that change at all? Just curious.
Not particularly, no.
Okay.
I don't think that would do anything for rankings, for me at least.
I mostly just ranked this one low because I haven't seen it, and I specifically, whenever I was ranking it, thought to myself, like, I bet if I see this in person it'll be higher, because the pictures of it at night specifically, with like all the buildings around it lit up and it's like glowing kind of, make me know that I would rank it higher, but I just don't feel like I can. So I ranked it lower. But if I get to go to Tokyo Disney, or when I get to go to Tokyo Disney, I will let y'all know if that changed.
Yeah. Yeah, I do think the pictures do not do it justice, because it is so much more amazing in person than what you can see in the pictures. Also, it's the same height as Cinderella's castle in Tokyo Disneyland. They wanted to make sure that both parks' icon was on equal footing with each other, which is pretty cool. I don't think any of the other parks that have multiple do that.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I'm just going to say this. If I'm going to Japan to see a mountain, it's going to be Mount Fuji.
Hey, you can see Mount Fuji from Tokyo Disneysea. Did you know that?
That's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
It is.
I've been on Mount Fuji. I almost died. Not going to bring that up.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, let's not talk about that.
Okay, well, going on to number 8. This is Sleeping Beauty's castle in Disneyland Paris, also known as Le Château de la Belle, yada, 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 yada. It's a long name. It's basically Sleeping Beauty's castle in French.
Dormant.
Okay, yes. So this one had a total of 20 points.
I love the way this castle is positioned on that hill. I think that makes it so unique compared to any of the other castles, and I like that feature of it.
Me too. And it looks like there's even like a little waterfall coming off of one of the sides, and I mean, it's surrounded by water, which I guess so is Disney World's, but this one looks different because it's lifted up and it looks like there's a kind of like a tunnel that goes under it a little bit. It looks really, really cool. It's very picturesque.
I mean, it was designed to be one of the most beautiful castles, right? Just because Disneyland Paris was designed to be the most beautiful park. So you would think that the icon itself would be thought of in the same way.
Yeah, and I think it is very beautiful. Like, to me, it looks more like delicate almost. Like, it's not as, like, clunky and just, like,
right.
You know, it's pretty and delicate.
Right.
I agree.
And this one, it was, like, right there in the middle in all of our rankings, pretty much. We had a 6, a 6, and an 8 to give a total of 20. So it's like right there in the middle. So I'm kind of surprised it came in a little bit lower on the list. But, I mean, a pretty castle. But, again, I haven't seen this one in person either. So I'm sure going there, it might raise it a little bit. I don't know.
I think it would. Who gave it an 8, just out of curiosity?
Emily.
Me.
And so why did you put it at 8, just out of curiosity? Because that's, to me, that's in the bottom. So
just because I put the only castle that I put above this that was like a castle in another country is Shanghai's. So I don't know. I just ranked the American parks icons higher because I've seen them. And yeah, I guess that's really the only reason.
So it's pretty interesting because it seems like we're going more sentimental whenever we're ranking these.
Well, I mean, I also went by the pictures and stuff, but it's kind of hard whenever you've seen some in person and you know how they look and how pretty they are and all
how they make you feel. And,
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, very interesting. I do think that it's really funny that coming in at number 7 is Sleeping Beauty's castle at Disneyland, and that had a total of 19 points.
Yeah. See, to me, that one definitely ranks lower than the Paris one. And I haven't seen the Paris one in person, but to me, Sleeping Beauty's castle in California was very underwhelming. And I understand it was a different time when it was made. But it's just, it doesn't seem special like the other ones seem special to me.
See, I ranked it number 2.
Yeah, Emily ranked it number 2. I had it number 9. Amanda, you had it at 8. I mean, this one has Walt's seal of approval on it.
It does. And so for that sentimental reason, yes, I think it's great. But compared to the other ones, it just doesn't compare to everything else.
Just now it seems a little underwhelming.
Right.
Whenever you're talking about like a statement piece as an icon for a park.
Exactly. I mean, the Ferris wheel is bigger than the castle.
Yes.
I mean, really again, like the
77
castle.
feet.
Yeah, but I really like it. I don't know. I think being there in person and seeing it with like Main Street and like, I don't know, like, I can't say what I'm trying to say. I think being there in person and seeing it with Main Street makes it more special. And I know it's smaller, but it has the big like underpass thing to walk through it and standing out there and taking pictures in front of it and stuff. Like, I really liked it. I thought it was a pretty castle and I don't know, I like it, even though it's small. Also seeing it at night. It looks really pretty lit up at night. And I was there at Christmas, or while they were still decorated for Christmas. So that helped because it had the icicle decorations all over it.
Yeah, I'm sure that does help.
I would guess so too. And to me, that's why I didn't like it though. Like you were saying, you look down Main Street and you see the castle. To me, whenever I went, I was comparing it to Disney World, and you look down Main Street at Disney World, and then there's the castle. It's amazing and huge, and you don't get that at Disneyland.
At Disneyland, it's like, hey, where's the rest of the castle?
Right. You're like,
I
oh,
think it's cute.
Where's the castle?
Yeah. Okay, coming in at number 6, this is Enchanted Storybook Castle in Shanghai. This had a total point system of 19 points. So it's actually tied with Sleeping Beauty's Castle, but more people ranked this one higher than Sleeping Beauty Castle at Disneyland.
Yeah, I pretty much just ranked this one where I did because it's big. I thought that should, give it a little bump. I'm like, it's pretty massive. They went all out. Props to them.
Yeah. It's one of the newer castles.
It is. This is actually one of the reasons that I put it in the lower half of mine, was because it was massive. Not just because it was massive. That's pretty cool. It's the biggest castle. But it seemed very clunky, like you said. It didn't seem it's more boxy. It's almost like a box with spires on it. I don't know. So I like the look and feel of the other castles better.
Yeah. So just to kind of give you an idea, I ranked this number 5 on my list. Emily and Amanda, you both ranked it 7th.
Yeah.
So, I do like that it's one of the newer castles. I do like that they chose to make a statement and make it the biggest castle. So I gave them a little bit of extra points for that. But yeah, I can see what you mean. The other castles do seem a little bit better designed. But I don't know. I do like this one, and I would really like to see it in person. I really do want to go to Shanghai. Shanghai seems like a very good park.
I agree. I definitely want to go there too. I'd love to see it in person, and seeing it in person, like with all the other ones, may totally change my mind on it. But just with looking at the pictures, it just looks not as detailed in some ways as some of the other ones.
It doesn't seem like a fairy tale castle in some sense.
Yeah.
It seems like a castle, but not necessarily a fairy tale castle.
I agree. That makes sense.
Okay, so actually going in at number 5, this is the newest castle, and that's Castle of Magical Dreams in Hong Kong. This had a total point of 17. Actually tied with number 4, but this one number 5, because again, the more people ranked the next one higher than this one.
I actually ranked this one 10th, I think.
Yeah,
it's
Emily,
a nice castle, but I don't know. It just seems the same as the other castles, but maybe not as good. I don't know. I feel like they're all looking the same now.
So Emily, you did rank this 10th. Amanda ranked it 3rd, and I ranked it 4th. One thing that I do want to say is that up until recently, the number 6 spot, the Enchanted Storybook Castle, had been talked about being one of the most beautiful and favorites of all the castles until this one came about. And now it kind of seems like more people are talking about this one being the favorite.
I really like this castle. Like, I watched a video of it because I wanted to see how it's changed since I went to Hong Kong Disney. Because before, it was kind of on par with the Disneyland castle, Sleeping Beauty's castle. And they basically took that castle and then added on to it. And it's really, really pretty. And I think it is a nice addition to the end of their main street. It's really pretty, and it kind of gives me the feel of Walt Disney World, seeing that castle at the end of Main Street. And so for that reason, I ranked it higher. But it is unique and it's different than the one at Tokyo. So that's another reason it got a higher ranking.
I think the landscaping at Hong Kong Disney around their castle looks like way better than the landscaping at the other parks. It looks really, really pretty. And then on top of that, you have a really pretty, like, natural background. Obviously, Disney did not create that, but I think the castle placement with that perfect background, the scenery, and it was probably purposeful too.
Oh, I'm sure.
The reason I ranked this one a little bit higher than most, again, I ranked this one number 4 on my list. And that's because all the turrets that are on the castle all represent different princesses within the Disney universe. So I think there's a total of 13 princesses that are referenced on the castle.
Oh, that's so cool. I didn't know that. I probably would have ranked it higher.
I mean, I know that, like, there's Tiana, there's Merida, there's Ariel. There's a lot. Go through the list. I should have pulled up the list for this episode, but I didn't, unfortunately. But yeah, 13, I think, is the total number of princesses that are referenced.
Yeah, I do really like this castle, and I can't wait to see it in person.
Yeah, same here. Let me know when you go. You can pay for me to go, and I'll go with you.
No, I'm not going to pay for you to go.
All right, number 4. Oh, this one hurts my heart so bad.
Oh, no.
Tower of Terror, Hollywood Studios. This had a total number of 17, tied with Castle of Magical Dreams.
To me, it should have been way lower.
No way.
Yes.
No way.
And this is the reason why it is not the main centerpiece when you walk in the park. Your icon should be when you walk in and you see the icon, it should make you go, wow. It should be the first thing you see when you walk in.
Well, they deleted our icon that was the first thing you see whenever you walk in.
They did, and they put in a replacement for it, but that's not truly what an icon should be, in my opinion.
I'm going to disagree with you here, Amanda, and I'm going to tell you why. You can see Tower of Terror from other parks. So you
what does that have to do with anything?
You can see another icon from another park. You're like, oh, it's there. It's iconic, and you know exactly what it is. So I'm going to have to disagree with you. Yeah, it's nice to walk down Main Street and see the big castle. Cool. Hollywood Studios doesn't have that. They have Tower of Terror.
Because they ruined it. They took the hat away.
Tower of Terror should have always been the icon.
No, okay.
No, it shouldn't.
Let me say this. I do want to give where we ranked this. Emily and I both ranked it at the same at number 3. Amanda, you ranked this number 11. That is atrocious.
Your opinion is atrocious.
That's hilarious. Okay, I do agree that this shouldn't have necessarily been the icon, and it wasn't. I liked the hat, Sorcerer Mickey hat. What was that called? I'm not sure. But I loved that icon. But since that's not there anymore and this is a new icon, I see what Jared's saying, because you can see Tower of Terror from everywhere. And whenever I'm like pulling up to Disney for the first time, driving in the bus, and I see Tower of Terror, like, it gets me so excited, and I can like hear the screams in my head, and I can feel my stomach dropping, and that's what I want an icon to do. I want it to get me excited for my trip, and it does that every time, never fail, and that's why I ranked it high.
The ride that gets you excited, not necessarily seeing the building.
No, it gets me excited for the whole trip, though, not just for the ride. It's seeing the building that makes me excited for my trip. I'm like, this is it. We're starting this trip. I'm ready to go.
I'm going to say this. Tower of Terror is the best ride, the best attraction to go and just watch others on. just hearing them scream as they take that first drop is great. And you don't really get that on other rides.
This isn't about a ride, though. This is supposed to be about the icon.
But it is the icon of the park. So you have to take all these things into account. Also,
it's really cool at night. I really like the atmosphere, the like spooky, and then it's
Most
like
definitely.
The lights, you know, the Hollywood Tower Hotel lights on it. And then at Christmas time, now they have the projections onto it, which makes it even better. I think it's great.
Yeah. I love it.
This is a poorly placed icon, and they really need to fix and put something else there instead.
Nope. I decided that we should just redesign Hollywood Studio and make it the center of attention.
That's fine. Do it.
So then if they do that, if they do that and Tower of Terror is like right down the middle of the strip, you're like, oh, perfect. Okay, number 1.
No, I wouldn't rank it number 1, no. But it would move up my list. Yes.
That's a terrible decision. Number 11. Amanda, your nickname is now number 11. And it's not because of Stranger Things. Okay.
That's what I was going to say.
Let's go to number 3. This one is pretty high on most of our lists, I think, and that is Spaceship Earth at Epcot. This got a total ranking of 10.
The geodesic sphere.
Yes.
This one was hard for me. I was having trouble deciding if I wanted this one to be number 3 or where I wanted this one. But I think I eventually put it at number 4. But I love Epcot. It's my second favorite park. And I don't know. It's a cool icon. I like that there's a ride in it.
I do think the sphere is really cool. I do like the ride inside too. This is one you can see all around, but it also has that wow appeal when you walk in the park, which makes the icon to me. And I think it's great. I remember seeing this the first time we went and just being amazed by it. And I'm still amazed by it.
Yeah, me too. I also really like it lit up at night. Like the colors of it and stuff. Yes. It changes from being a big white sphere to like a multicolored. It's really pretty.
And I like being like on the backside of it where you're like in the land and you have that water patch there, especially at night or when the sun's going down, and the way it changes colors, and you can take the picture with the water and the sphere and the monorail coming through. I just think it's really cool.
Yeah, which that's another thing. Even when you're in like the World Showcase and stuff, you can still see it and take really cool pictures of it, and I like it. It's a really neat icon.
I listed this as my favorite icon, which is crazy to me to think that I didn't list Tower of Terror as my favorite. But
that's not an icon, but that's okay.
Spaceship Earth is, I mean, it's just iconic to me. And yeah, I mean, the ride does need some refurbishments and some updating.
Oh, I love it though.
It's a good educational ride, I guess. But it's not my favorite ride, obviously. But I mean, the icon coming into Epcot is amazing. It's Walt's idea of future that really hits home with me, and what he wanted to create. So it just hits me in a different way than any of the other icons.
Yeah.
So that's why I ranked it a little bit higher than you two, where, like I said, I ranked it 1, Amanda ranked it 5, Emily ranked it 4. Okay, going on to number 2. So these last 2, they tied with 9 points each.
How?
I don't know. But yeah, number 2 is Tree of Life at Animal Kingdom. And I do really love Tree of Life.
Me too.
I ranked this one exactly where it is at number 2. Amanda, you ranked it at number 2 as well. Emily, you ranked it 5.
I love it, but I don't know. I didn't think it was number 2.
I really like the Tree of Life. All of the detail that went into making the Tree of Life, I think, is what really pushes it over for me. Those were all hand carved. It's just amazing what they've done with that. And I love it.
I love it too. Part of me didn't put it higher than that because it's not like super big, but still it is beautiful, and I love Animal Kingdom. I love all the parks. Why am I even?
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think we would be doing a podcast if we were like, oh well, I like 1 or 2 of the parks.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I rank this one higher just because of what it represents. I mean, if you think about, this big tree out in the wilderness, it's a life source. Also, trees are just a life source for everything, right? So it's kind of the sentimental representation of what the Tree of Life stands for.
Makes sense. I like it.
So, but Amanda, you bring up a really good point about like the carvings, the animals that are represented in the tree, and yeah, it's just I think it's a good icon.
And it still looks like a real tree.
It does.
I mean, even with the carvings and everything in it, it looks like a real tree.
Disney's very good at deception like that.
You make it sound bad. Deception.
Well, spoiler, it's not a real tree.
Yes, we found that out on one of our previous episodes. All right, number 1, I'm honestly not surprised at this. It's Cinderella's Castle in Magic Kingdom. Both Emily and Amanda ranked this number 1. I did not. I ranked this number 7.
Jared,
wow.
That is like the most awful thing I've ever heard.
Why though?
We're going to call you 7 from now on.
Yeah, that's even horrible. Worse than Amanda's 11.
I don't think so.
I do.
I don't think so.
It's worse. What is your reason for your ranking?
I just think there's better icons. I'm not disagreeing that it doesn't make a statement. I mean, going into Magic Kingdom and seeing the castle is amazing. Watching fireworks and watching the overlays, it's all great. But I'm just not the demographic for the castles. Like the big fairy tale castle. It's not me. Give me Tower of Terror.
To me, this is what gets me excited.
Yeah.
Whenever I go to the parks. This is the first thing I want to see. This is the last thing I want to see. This is Disney World.
Yeah, it is for me too. I mean, whenever you cry when you see an icon, you have no option but to put it as number 1.
Exactly.
So, and I cry every time.
I cry when I see Tower of Terror.
Oh,
but you didn't put it as number 1.
I didn't. So... You're right.
Yeah, to me, this is just, and I guess it does have a lot to do with like the sentimental aspect of it and growing up going to Disney World specifically. Because it just, man, it like makes my heart do something whenever I see it. And like, I don't even have to, whenever I walk down Main Street, yeah, that's like a feeling in and of itself, but I don't even have to be in the park yet. I can just be like on the bus pulling up to the park and I'm already crying.
Yeah.
I'm like crying, literally. Yeah. I look stupid. Yeah, exactly. And then I feel like the fireworks, like being on Main Street during the fireworks, make it even more magical. And it's just,
Yes.
The castle is the coolest thing.
And I cannot wait until the 50th and seeing the projections and stuff go down Main Street. That is going to be amazing. And I cannot wait.
Yeah, that's going to be really cool.
And I know they've done that at Disneyland, but they haven't done it at Disney World yet. So this is super exciting.
Yep.
So how do you guys feel like the whole list came out? Do you kind of, looking at it in a standpoint of all three of our ranking systems coming together, do you think that we kind of nailed this down?
I mean...
I think with the exception of like one or two for each of us, then yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, there are some that are way lower than I thought should be that low.
Like which one?
Tokyo Disneysea's.
The Mount Prometheus.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I definitely think that one should be higher. But I mean, it's not a horrible list. I like all the icons. They're just, some of them I like better than others.
It's funny though, because 1, 2, 3, and 4 are all from Orlando.
Which, after hearing why Emily ranked some of them the way she did, she'd seen those before. Yeah. Doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. Well, it's just like a feeling, so it's hard to not.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of...
You put the sentimental value into it instead of just looking at it as the icon itself. And I guess that's what makes mine different. I'm the only one that's been to any of the parks that aren't in the U.S.
Right.
So I have different perspective on them than both of you do.
You do.
I think part of it, though, too, is that, like, at Disney World specifically, there's only one castle. The other ones are more unique icons, and I think I like that aspect of it too, that it's not all castles. So I ranked those higher for that reason as well, because it's a little more unique and something different.
Which, if you're saying that, Mount Prometheus isn't a castle.
You're right, but like I said, I feel like the pictures don't really do it justice, because I was just like, well, it looks like it would be really awesome in person, but looking at it in this little bitty picture, it's just like a brown mountain. So
see if you could find a YouTube video of it. It really is really amazing.
I'm sure you probably can find several.
I'm sure, but I think that the pictures of it at night, like I said, are really, really pretty, because all the buildings around it are lit up like colorful, and it was really pretty. I just didn't feel like I could justify putting it higher.
Yeah, and at night they also have, on the water in front of it, they have shows that go off in that area, so it's in the background of it, which is really cool too.
I mean, Disneysea, is my number one top Disney bucket list place. So hopefully one day I'll see it.
Yeah.
Hopefully I'll see all of these icons and
me too.
Be able to justify my list. How surprised were you guys whenever I didn't rank Tower of Terror number 1?
Super surprised.
Yeah.
And to see Epcot as your number 1 surprised me too.
Me too.
Yeah, because it's not my favorite park. It's not my favorite ride. It's not my favorite attraction. But I don't know. It's just something about Epcot touches me right here in the heart.
I feel that.
Yeah.
So... okay, well, that is our list. Thank you for listening to our own opinions about the icons of the park. Let us know what your opinions are. Give us a list. I'll actually probably post all of the icons on our social media platforms at T3M Podcast, and you can go through and you can kind of rank which ones are your favorite, or, just kind of give us an idea of which ones you like the most.
The episode that I picked as my favorite came in second, and that is Imagining Our Own Rethemes. And for this episode, we took attractions that we think needed a retheme, and we kind of put our own twist on it, on what we would do if we would do an overlay. And we were basically like our own Disney Imagineers. And it was really fun to get to be creative and hear you guys' ideas as well. So here's the episode.
All right, well, let's go ahead and get into our main topic. Our main topic is going to be our own imaginations of retheming attractions within Disney parks. We kind of decided to go with like 2 or 3 different attractions for each of us. Let's go ahead and get into the first one. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay. Amanda, what's your first one then?
Jared, you're going to love this one. I want to change Tower of Terror.
Are you serious?
I'm totally kidding.
Okay.
I just had to do that to you.
Okay. My heart almost stopped. I almost lost a sister today.
You know I had to joke with you.
All right. Well, what's your real first one?
My real first one is Rock and Roller Coaster.
Oh, very fun. This one is actually on my list too.
Y'all are crazy.
Okay, I've seen some people mention on Facebook and stuff about changing it to Monsters, Inc., which I think would be super cute. But my idea would be to make it a Cars ride. So you could get onto Lightning McQueen, maybe.
Okay.
And you are in one of the races with Lightning trying to win the Piston Cup.
That'd be pretty cool.
I could see that.
And they do have the Cars section right there next to Rock and Roller Coaster as well.
Yeah.
That is true. I disagree, but
I mean, really, why is Aerosmith there? He's not Disney.
I don't know, but I like it. And I'm fine with it.
It's still the same ride. It's just different theming.
But then you're going to have different music, and you're not going to have that pre-show where they're like, make it a stretch or a super stretch or whatever. You know, the thing that everyone says along with it.
No,
Yeah.
I know, but yes, you can. You can have another saying there. There could be another reason that you're going into the ride. And then you can do the Life is a Highway song whenever you're taking off and throughout the ride. It fits perfectly.
I mean, I think it would be fun, but I really like the Aerosmith Rock and Roller Coaster.
Okay, so I agree with you, Emily. I do like the Aerosmith Rock and Roller Coaster, but I do agree with Amanda. It's not Disney themed.
No, it's not.
It seems just kind of misplaced.
Tower of Terror isn't Disney themed either, Jared.
But it is Twilight Zone, so it's kind of related to some degree.
Okay.
The retheme that I had for Rock and Roller Coaster is a little bit different. I decided to go with something Marvel themed, and I have 2 different pitches for this. The first one is Avengers. I think it would be really fun to have an Avengers theme on the roller coaster, and it's something that you can make the theme around like flying through the city, right? Like maybe with Iron Man or, Spider-Man or somebody. I know that it's getting into some issues with Universal, and Disney can't really put the Marvel superheroes in the park, but this is my own retheming. It's never going to happen, but it's what I would want to see. So I think it would be really fun. Like if it was like with Iron Man or Spider-Man or, somebody else on the Avengers team. Maybe the Hulk. Hulk would be really fun, but I know that Universal has the Hulk ride as well. So what do you think about that? the first option here.
I think it's a good idea, but if you're gonna retheme Rock and Roller Coaster, which I don't want to happen, I would ride a Cars ride. Just because, just because. I know this isn't a competition, but
it's better.
Yeah, well, that and also I'm just not like, I mean, I like Marvel. I don't have anything against it, but I like Disney and Disney Pixar stuff better.
That's fair. Okay, well, my second one then is maybe you go with an Ant-Man theme. And the reason I say Ant-Man is because maybe it's one of those heroes that, Universal isn't going to have that much of a problem with. So maybe they could end up having it at some point. And if you think about it, right off the bat, the launch, it could work very well for the shrink, like shrinking you down, going through the shrink ray, and then sending you off into whatever adventure may come.
I could see that one. I kind of like that one. I think that one fits better than the Avengers one.
I don't know. I like the Avengers one, but I think they could both work. But I think that with the Avengers one, you already have the city built in, right? So you just change the actual cars into something that would fit a Marvel theme.
Yeah, I can see that too.
I feel like it's a good idea.
Okay, well, Emily, what's your first one then?
It's really hard for me to pick one to start with, but I guess I'll go with the one that is going to make the most impact and hit Jared the hardest.
Oh, Jesus. I might lose two sisters tonight.
And I am not joking about this one, but hear me out. I'm going with Journey into Imagination.
Oh, no. Why?
Okay, because
it's outdated.
Yes, and the thing is, I actually do enjoy the ride, mostly because there's never a wait and it's air conditioned, so you can go sit down and cool off on a ride, and it has that awful like skunk smell during the ride, and I really hate that part of it. And then also, I don't know if you've noticed, I'm sure you have, I'm sure everyone has, if you like, it doesn't have the Disney theming to me like all the way through. Like if you turn around and face like the opposite way of where you're supposed to be looking while the ride's going on, it's just like a blank black wall behind you. And to me, that doesn't fit with the Disney theming, so we're going to retheme it.
I'm going to stop you right there.
Okay.
And I'm going to say this. It does fit this Disney theme to have a black wall behind you, and I'll tell you why. It's because using your imagination, you're always looking forward. You're never looking behind.
Well, I looked behind me.
Wow.
And I noticed that Disney's really lacking in the theming department on Journey into Imagination. But I had never ridden like the original Journey into Imagination ride, but I've heard people who like love Figment always talk about how amazing the original ride was and how they wish that they would just bring the original back. But that's not my idea, obviously. My idea is to retheme it as a Monsters Inc. ride because I feel like Monsters, like you could still, it still works with the like imagination pavilion area, because monsters are a figment of your imagination.
Right.
And see what I did there? Figment of your imagination.
I don't like it. Move on.
I like it. Keep going.
I like it too.
Going.
And I mean, it's just like, I feel like you can go, actually in Disneyland, they do have a Monsters Inc. ride, and I kind of like, it's kind of the same sort of like slower moving vehicle where it takes you through scenes, And so I feel like they could do something with that. And there's just so many like bright colors and like I feel like you could have the door room, the room with all the doors, and you could just keep that really like bright, colorful theme, and it would be a lot better. And it would be a Disney movie that people like, and I like Figment. I don't have anything against him. I really don't.
I'm going to tell you the problem that I have with retheming Journey into the Imagination. First, you're getting rid of Figment. That's the only place where Figment is in the parks, right?
Right.
So that character would be going away completely in Epcot and in all parks. The problem that I have beyond that is is the only place where Robin Williams is in the parks.
Okay, but you can't.
He is still there. He is still up on the wall. He is still one of my favorite people of all time, and I don't want to see him go away either.
Well, you can't hold on to things forever, Jared. Sometimes things need to change, and I feel like Figment needs a retheme. Think about how much, like, not wasted space, but kind of that is. Like, that doesn't draw any people over to it at all.
You're right. It's kind of like the Dino Land in Animal Kingdom.
It really is.
Again, I'm going to disagree, but go ahead.
And there's also that like the area whenever you come off of the ride where like you can do some imagination things.
They don't really have that there anymore.
Well, last time I went, they did, but it was very, very lacking. And I feel like they could do something really cool with that as far as like the Monsters Inc. theme goes as well.
Yeah, that's where we met Vanellope last time, but there was nothing else. There was none of the imagination stuff there anymore. It was just Vanellope there.
Well, they do have a couple things that have like the music stuff that's there, but
yeah, that's what they had last time.
You literally had to walk through that to get to Vanellope.
Yeah, and
it's right after you get off the ride.
There was something with computer screens too, where like I think you could like create your own Figment or something like that, and there were computers set up where you could go and do that, which you could still do something like that and like maybe create your own door, and then they could even have an area where you like tell jokes for your laugh thing to fill up and make it like interactive like that with the Monsters Inc. theme.
Yeah, that's the last thing we need is 3-year-olds telling us jokes.
Oh, you didn't like that when you were here last week, Jared?
Just the understanding of how the joke structure works. They don't quite get it yet. So
they do not.
Well, my next one is another one in Hollywood Studios. It's actually the Little Mermaid show there.
I forgot about the Little Mermaid show.
Yes. Well, I do like that show. It's been there for a long time, and that theater kind of needs a rework.
Yeah.
Yes. It's a little musty in there.
Yeah.
So I think that they should do a different show there, and it should be Coco.
Oh, I love that.
It would be great with the black lights and everything there. You could have Coco put on a concert. I mean, the whole movie is about, okay, it's not necessarily about, but it's a singing movie, and he sings a lot in the movie. And I just think you could do so much with a little concert in there with all the black lights and everything. I think it would be awesome.
Well, I mean, it is a movie about him wanting to be a musician, so I would say that is the driving structure of the film, is that he wants to be a musician and is trying to find his link to music.
True.
I definitely like that idea. I do think it really works well with the black lights.
I really like that idea as well. And I think I really want Coco in the park somewhere. And I wanted it in the Mexico Pavilion. You know, I think that would be a great ride refurb. But if we're not going to get that, I really think Amanda's idea is good too.
I think even if they did redo the Mexico Pavilion for Coco, I think you could still have the show in Hollywood Studios too.
That is true. You could, because right now they have the Little Mermaid show in Hollywood Studios, and they also have the ride at Magic Kingdom. So you could have both.
Right.
Yep.
You also have the Frozen sing along in Hollywood Studios and Frozen Ever After in Epcot.
Good
So
point.
it could work having both of them.
Yeah, I think it could work definitely, and I think this is a really good time to bring up Ryan at Parkeneer on YouTube. He designed Coco as a retheme for the Mexican Pavilion, and I think it came out really well.
I absolutely love the designs he did for that. I think that would be fantastic and wish Disney would go ahead and pick that up and start working on it.
Yeah, I mean, again, we might find out that Disney has been working on it for a couple years after the retheme for Splash Mountain came out, but uh, yeah, I really think that it would work well. I do really want to see Coco have some kind of attraction in the parks.
Me too. I feel like it's a missed opportunity if they don't.
Yeah, because I mean, that ride is an older ride and it feels very small worldish, and I think it needs a revamp for sure.
Definitely. And that will draw people to it, having it as Coco.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the Mexico Pavilion is one of my favorite pavilions because of like how neat the inside is and the fact that there is a ride that goes through that area. And I enjoy the ride because of the scenery, but I think it just needs something more special.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
this
and
would definitely be special.
I
Yeah.
think Coco adds that. So I mean, you talk about there's not really anything that's drawing people over to that ride, that area. And for the most part, that ride is a walk on. Like you might have to wait 1 or 2 minutes, but it's
Yeah.
typically a walk on.
Right.
So just people aren't going to it. But I don't know. I would like to see it rethemed. And I also do like the Little Mermaid retheme that you came up with.
Me too.
So I'm going to go ahead and talk about my second one. And I think I'm going to get a little bit of backlash from this. I want to change the Tiki Room.
Okay. Honestly, I'm not too mad about that. I don't find myself going in the tiki room, and I have heard that the tiki room at Disneyland is like a billion times better than the one at Disney World, but I didn't have time to go while I was there. But that's what I've heard. So I'm not mad at it, but I'd like to know what you're going to do.
I was thinking that we change it to the Heart of Tafiti Room.
Wow, I love it.
Just on name alone, you love it.
Let's do it right now.
It has nothing to do with Moana, by the way. Let's do it. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I just think that Moana needs a place, and I think that the Tiki Room could be her place, or at least one of them. There would have to be a lot that goes into it, but I don't think that it would be nearly as hard to do. All you would need to get obviously more puppets, more animatronics in there that fit the Moana theme. But what if I didn't really get as far as I wanted to with this one? All I knew is I wanted it to be the Heart of Tafiti Room, and I wanted it to be Moana themed, and it just needed a revamp. So, what do you guys think? It could really be Moana talking about the Heart of Tafiti.
I think it would be really great because they could still incorporate a lot of the music from Moana, just like they have music in the Tiki Room. And I think it would be really cool. And I also feel like it fits with the theme of the area.
Yeah, I think so too.
That. Now, I'm not disagreeing that the Tiki Room needs a revamp, but my only disappointment, I guess, is Moana is going in Epcot, but it's more like a meet and greet type area is all. And so having this as her second place. I just feel like she needs a little more. I would rather see like a ride or something. And this isn't necessarily one of my revamps that I was thinking of, but while we were discussing this, I thought, wouldn't it be cool if like Cali River Rapids was changed to a Moana ride?
Yeah, I had thought about that one. And I also like my next one that I was going to talk about was actually a Moana one, and it was changing the Nemo ride. The what is that ride called? The Seas of Nemo and Friends.
Yeah.
I was thinking they could change that into a Moana ride. And you know how they're in the little clamshells? All of the clamshells could be sailboats instead. And I mean, you can still go through the seas and have like the animals, the sea life, and the water and all of that. And I feel like it would fit perfectly there.
Yeah, I can see that one too. I just feel like she needs a ride and not just two show type things.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
I agree that she needs a ride, but I do like the Heart at Tafiti room.
I do too. I feel like it could be really dramatic.
You know, what about this? What about, since you're surrounding the center of the room, what if it's that Maui takes the Heart of Tafiti, we have the lava monster, and then Moana returns it, and it's all themed around in the center?
Oh, I was figuring that's how it was going to be anyway.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously, because of the tea room is designed that way. But, I mean, what we have in the center is Tafiti.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying I don't like your idea. I do think it's a great idea. I just really, I can't see them having 3 Moana things. And I really want her to have a ride.
That's fair.
That was all. So my third one is more of a retheme of a whole area and not necessarily one attraction.
Okay, and I do know what you're about to talk about. And I'm very excited.
So Jared and I were kind of brainstorming. He stayed with me last week with my family, and we kind of brainstormed about this together. So there are some elements of both of us in our retheme. And my idea is to retheme the whole Frontierland in Magic Kingdom to be a New Orleans Square area, since they're retheming Splash Mountain to Princess and the Frog. I think they should just go ahead and retheme that whole area and make it New Orleans, because Princess and the Frog doesn't fit into Frontierland.
Yeah, I agree with that. I do think that that whole area with the Princess and the Frog being like the big attraction there could use a retheme to match it a lot better. We talked about the Big Thunder Mountain and how that would be applied. Like, what could we do with that to make it feel a little bit more like New Orleans, Louisiana, something, you know, along the swamps instead of a mountain.
Right.
And I came up with the idea of the Rescuers. So the Rescuers are set in Louisiana, and you could change the train into the sardine cans, and you could fly around, and it would be really fun. It'd be a fun retheme, I think.
I think so too. I think it fits.
Emily, what do you think? What are your thoughts on this?
I give this a big thumbs down.
Why?
The whole thing or just this one ride?
The whole thing.
Why?
Okay.
Because I love Frontierland and it's my favorite. But I do agree. I know, I agree. Princess and the Frog does not fit whatsoever, like, period, at all. I think that Princess and the Frog should have been put somewhere else because I don't think it works there. So it all starts with that and me being disappointed about it going in that location because I love Frontierland the way it is.
With our retheme idea, we do get a beignets kiosk.
Mm-hmm.
Do. I also think Country Bear Jamboree is way outdated. It needs to go. It verges on racist. So it probably needs to go. That is in the same building as Pecos Bills. They're connected.
I
And
like Pecos Bills.
I do too. But to retheme it to make it New Orleans, my idea is to make that a sit down restaurant, and that's going to be Tiana's restaurant. So you're going to serve gumbo and you're going to serve seafood and other New Orleans, Louisiana food in that area. Inside the restaurant, you're going to have a stage, and Louis is going to, his band is going to play there. And Tiana and Naveen will be characters that come through the restaurant.
Yeah, kind of like a character meet.
It'll be a character meal,
yeah,
a character dining experience.
Yeah, see, I don't dislike this idea. I just dislike the location of it because Frontierland to me is like Disney. It's just my favorite place for some reason. So it saddens me to think of it changing.
And I don't disagree with that, but with what they've already announced is going to happen, I would rather the whole area fit than have
just one attraction stick out as, oh, why is this here? Because it doesn't fit.
Right. I also think that whole area, it kind of makes a loop around, like the one at Disney World. There's a big loop around. So I thought, the characters could come out and do like a little parade, not necessarily a parade, but it could be kind of like their caravans they're doing now, but they can do it as a Mardi Gras parade and kind of come out and kind of throw beads out to the kids and stuff. I just think that'd be really cute.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
It doesn't have to be at a set time, so it's still kind of a random thing, and just every once in a while they come out, throw beads, and then go back.
Yeah, I do really like the Mardi Gras parade idea, and it's a place where you can put Lottie and her father in as the king and the princess of Mardi Gras.
True, too. That'd be cute.
I like the idea. Obviously, Emily doesn't, but I like the idea. I thought we really did a good job with the retheme.
I thought so too.
Most of it was Amanda. So,
didn't you mention something else about masks?
Oh yeah, the mask wall.
Yes.
So the mask wall would be at the entrance, and if you're wondering what I'm talking about, a mask wall, think about the masks from The Princess and the Frog and how they were the vessels for the friends on the other side. And they can talk about, welcome to New Orleans, and they can kind of have like a voodoo style theme. And it's something that you can interact with while you're entering into the area. I think it would be really fun.
That'd be pretty cool. I actually like that idea.
One thing Em likes.
Yep. I mean, I still don't like it for Frontierland.
Yeah.
But put it somewhere else and we'll be good.
And even if the whole area doesn't change, it could just be something that they put at the ride where Splash Mountain is now. Just kind of as you're entering into that area, you can walk across this wall and, interact with the masks. Yeah. But I do like it at the entrance, and I do like it for like a full retheme of the area.
Me too.
I mean, come on, beignets.
I know. That would be fantastic. And they also have the riverboat that goes around there too.
Yeah.
So that kind of fits in with the New Orleans theme too.
It does.
Sorry, Em.
All right, and what's your next one?
Okay, so my last one is Small World. And this is only the Disney World Small World because Disneyland is the original, like, World's Fair, Walt's Small World. And I think that one has to stay no matter what. I feel like that's like a piece of history. So that fair. One can't go anywhere. But Disney World is just a copycat, and it's not even as good of a copycat. So I'm fine with losing it.
Yeah, it's a shorter ride than Disneyland, correct?
Right.
Yes. And I feel like, so it's in Fantasyland, right?
Right.
I think that we could put a Maleficent ride there. And so, well, it's kind of like a Sleeping Beauty slash Maleficent ride. So I guess it's like, you know, both of them. So it would start out like a trip through the forest, and you're like going through like a river in the forest, you know? And it's all like magical and pretty and green and beautiful, and you see Aurora and the fairies and all of them. And then it takes like a dark, Maleficent turn. And so it would be like kind of half like a pretty magical ride, and then half like kind of like a scary, not scary, you know, it's Disney, but kind of like a
No, I'm into
darker
scary.
turn.
I'm into scary. Let's go scary.
So it's a dark ride basically,
Yeah.
but on water
But on
instead
water.
of.
Yes, exactly. And I feel like it fits with, you know, that area has a lot of dark rides, and I feel like a lot of like princess things, and I think it would fit there. And Maleficent has, I mean, a lot of the villains don't really have a huge presence in the parks, but I feel like Maleficent is like a fan favorite, so she should.
Yeah. And I think
Yeah.
that's one of the reasons why they have the big Maleficent dragon in the parade
Mm-hmm.
is because it is a fan favorite, and it's such great imagery that people just love it. People love Maleficent, and there's good reason why.
Yeah.
I do like your idea, and I think that actually could really work.
I think so too. And I mean, if you want to ride Small World, you can go to Disneyland and ride the better one.
And Sleeping Beauty doesn't really have a presence really anywhere except her castles at Disneyland.
I know.
So I really think they're missing out on putting her into the parks.
I know. I felt the same way. So I was thinking like a ride that's like represents both of them would be good.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I don't like Small World anyway, so
I know.
get
It's
it out of
quite,
here.
it's uh, it's a little bit repetitive and really
It really
gets
is.
to you.
Yeah, for sure. I do like that retheme. Good job, Em.
Thanks.
And what about your last one?
My last one is going to shock and amaze everyone. I want to retheme Tower of Terror.
No, you don't.
I do. Tower of Terror, as we know it, is no more. My retheme idea is Super Duper Tower of Terror. So I want to
my
add more
gosh.
ghosts. I want to add a scarier opening. I just want it to be a lot scarier.
This is still Disney.
It's
It
still
is.
the same ride. This is not a
No.
reimagining.
Nope. It is a
No,
retheme.
This isn't.
It is a
You have
retheme.
totally missed the point of the
Nope.
whole exercise.
Nope. This is what I'm going with. It's Super Duper Tower of Terror. And I want to add ghosts into the lobby. And I want to add, like, think about the lobby itself. Okay. It's gritty. It's dirty. But it's just a lobby, a hotel lobby with cobwebs, right?
So
Mhm.
behind the little desk, you know, the little desk, like the reception desk, that's what it's
Yeah.
called. A ghost receptionist pops up and then
Yeah.
disappears.
Yes.
Stuff like that.
Like stuff like that. Like a lot of the Pepper's Ghost type stuff that we see in Haunted Mansion could be put into effect in the lobby.
I could see it.
Okay.
It's
and
not
then,
a retheme, but
No, it's a retheme because now it's Super Duper Tower of Terror. So
No.
I want to take out the beginning video and make it into a creepier story.
They are never, ever in 100 million years ever going to go for this. You know this, right?
They might. You never know. So I want it to, I don't know, like whenever you get up into the actual drop shaft, right? There is every now and then, a little child that shows up or somebody shows up as a projection on the ride as you drop, right? Do you know what I'm talking about? You're looking at me like you don't know what I'm talking about.
I do not know what you're talking about. You're talking about actually once you move forward into the actual part where you're dropping.
Yes.
I've never noticed a child or a little ghost in there ever.
It is while you're dropping. Like whenever you come down and then it pauses for a minute to send you back up, there is one specific piece that you don't get every time. And it's like a child that is projected onto the wall.
I don't know if I've ever noticed that.
Me either.
Like I said, it doesn't happen every time. It's
maybe
very
you're
random.
actually seeing a real ghost.
Yeah.
Maybe. Well, then they need to hire this ghost and make more appearances because it's really fun. And I want to add like more stuff like that.
Because then it wouldn't be necessarily random because if you're seeing it all the time.
But it could be just a random projection. Like it could be something different.
Ooh, like all of a sudden you look over at the person that you're riding the ride with and now they're a ghost.
And now it's Ezra from Haunted Mansion.
It would be kind of cool though if like they could project some ghosts into the vehicle in like the empty seats while you're riding.
Well, there's never empty seats.
Okay, but that's what I'm saying. They leave like seats for the ghost.
So if they could make people disappear.
Let's turn it into a magic ride. Everybody disappears. Nobody ever comes back. You can only ride this ride once.
Yeah.
I'm here for making it scarier. It's not a retheme, but I'm all for it.
It's not a retheme.
I'm very disappointed in this retheme idea.
No, I thought that we just definitely nailed all the other ones. I was going to just have some fun with it. So, Super Duper Tower of Terror. I'm in.
Okay.
Let's do it.
I don't think they'll ever do it because they're eliminating a lot of the children who may ride this ride. You don't want to terrify them so much that they're never going to come back to Disney or ride the ride.
See, here's where I'm going to disagree with you. I do want to make it where the small kids can't go on because if the small kids can't go on, that means their parents can't go on. And if their parents can't go on, that means shorter lines. And that means that I can ride it a lot more often.
I didn't say you didn't want the kids to go on. I said Disney doesn't want the kids to go on. Or wants the kids to go on. Let me rephrase that. Disney wants the kids to go on. You don't.
I have a name for your retheme.
Oh, God.
What is it?
It's Tower of Total Terror.
There we go.
Yep. It just adds a little extra terror, you know?
Yeah. I mean, it adds the total amount.
Quit feeding into his delusion.
I love it. We did it.
Yep.
Horrible idea. Horrible. I don't like it.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and move on. Let us know on social media at T3M Podcast and let us know what you thought about our rethemes and give us your own rethemes if you want.
The episode I chose is Imagining a Fifth Gate, and it came in as number 1. And I really enjoy the episodes where we get to put on our Imagineering hats and come up with something new for Disney to use. I really wish they'd use some of our ideas in this episode. I'm really excited to one day hopefully get a fifth gate, and maybe, you never know, maybe they'll use some of our ideas. Let's take a listen.
Okay, so this week's main topic is going to be the possibility of a fifth gate at Walt Disney World. Are you guys excited about the new land that they purchased?
I am excited about it, but then at the same time, I just have this gut feeling that they're not building a fifth gate.
And I agree with that. I mean, I can hope, but I don't necessarily think they are. I read that for any construction that they're planning, they have to have so many acres of land to counteract it, that will not be developed. So I think this is probably stuff that they're buying for maybe the Reflections hotel that's being built so that they have the amount of land free that they need. But you never know. One can hope.
Yeah, I mean, you can hope. And I feel like a fifth gate is kind of like inevitable. Like they have to do one eventually, right? Because Universal announced they're doing a new park, and Disney typically likes to follow up whatever they're doing with something even better. So I feel like it's inevitable and it's coming at some point. I just don't know if this land will be that.
There is a lot of speculation that there won't be a fifth gate anytime soon, mostly because of how Americans tend to vacation these days. The average days that you're spending is a little bit shorter, and building a fifth gate to add more days to your vacation at Disney doesn't necessarily make sense. But I don't know. I don't know if Disney's looking at that and or maybe even has different data that they're pulling from, and maybe they're making a decision based off that. But I think what we want to do with this specifically is talk about our own fifth gate and what we would like to see if they did eventually make a fifth gate.
And I do want to say something really fast. For those of you that are not aware what a fifth gate is, it is a fifth park at Disney World. So they consider Magic Kingdom a gate. Epcot is gate number 2. Hollywood Studios is gate number 3, and Animal Kingdom is gate number 4. So this would be a fifth park, just so everyone knows, isn't on the same page.
That's actually good to clarify that, because whenever I was telling my husband what we were doing for this episode, I said, oh, we're like talking about our ideas for a fifth gate. And he was like, what the heck's that? So
I did the same thing, and that's why I decided we should probably clarify.
My husband knew what it was automatically. So.
I don't think I've met him before.
You have not.
Is he your imaginary friend?
Yes. Speaking of imaginary friend, let's imagine some good park ideas. How about that? I think that one of the things that I want to bring up first is there has been a lot of talk about a villain park. I really like that idea, but I don't know if it's ever going to happen.
I love that idea so much, and I want it to happen. Like, if I could imagine a perfect park, like, to add, besides the one that I came up with, of course, it would be a villains park.
And I have heard this rumor for a long time, for years actually. But I saw something recently that it is totally fabricated by the internet, that there was never a villains park on the table, and even the Imagineers don't know anything about it. So
yeah, I've also heard that, but then I just wonder, because there is so much talk, like that's what people want to see, if maybe they would like listen to the people and realize that that's what they want to see, so then they decide to do that. Like, I think a good versus evil park would be kind of cool.
And that's kind of a different take on it, I think, good versus evil.
Well, I mean, it would be a good counter to the Magic Kingdom, right? Because the Magic Kingdom is like the hero's park. Except for Gaston. Gaston is there, and we all know how Gaston is.
Villain!
Emily loves Gaston for some reason. But I mean, having that extreme opposite from Magic Kingdom to a villain's park, that would be really fun to see.
Yeah, I think so too.
I agree, but I do think there are people who wouldn't go to a villain park just because they don't like villains.
That's very true, and I think that's one of the main reasons why you'll never see it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think we'll never see it for sure, but it would be cool.
Because when you're thinking of another park, you want to have a park that's going to draw people in and pull them away from the other ones to spread everybody out a little bit. And if you have one that's going to deter people from going to it just because of what it is, then it may not necessarily be the best idea.
Yeah. So there is something else that I would like to see, and that would be like a Marvel park. that's not going to ever happen either.
Well, I mean, I don't know if they would do a full Marvel park, but they're building the additional land at California Adventure that's all Avengers, so they're taking steps in that direction.
They are, but because of their contract with Universal, they can't put Marvel in Florida. That's why they're doing it in Paris and in California, because they can't do that in Florida.
You're right. I had forgotten about that. And I know there's not enough land around Disneyland, California for them to like build a whole additional park. So we're just getting...
Yeah, I do bits and pieces, but I do think it would be really cool to have that. I would definitely go and visit that one.
Welcome to the Disney Trivia Show within a podcast. I have a question for Amanda and Emily. We're going to see if they know their Disney. Are you guys ready to play?
Let's do it.
Why not?
Okay, this one is going to be a 50-50, so I'm going to need a agreed upon answer from both of you. You have one answer. I am imposing these rules because you guys typically go with different answers to try to say you won, and that's not going to happen.
Hey, I just want to remind everybody that I knew it without any guesses last time. So I'm just throwing that out there.
Well, we'll see if you know this one. On which side of the head did Anna get her platinum blonde streak? Left or right?
Oh my gosh. I need to envision Anna. Okay. I'm thinking left. What are you thinking, Amanda? You're thinking funny. Right.
I am. I was hoping we would agree.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Well, why can't we both have separate answers and then just one of us win and the other one lose?
Because
I'll go with you and say left.
Okay, Amanda left.
Not fully confident.
I need an answer.
Were you fully confident and right?
No.
Okay, so then let's go with left.
You're both going with left. Final answer?
Yeah. Final answer.
You are incorrect. It is the right side.
Gosh.
Oh, see, that's what I said. We were going with right.
No.
We decided we were going to go with the right.
No, you guys went with left.
You misheard us.
You did.
We said right.
I have a literal podcast that would say differently. For those of you listening at home, I hope you got it correct. Amanda and Emily apparently don't know their Disney this week.
Oh man, that is such a little detail. If you had asked if she has a blonde streak, I would have said yes.
Oh, very
blonde. It's white.
Platinum blonde. Okay, well, let's go ahead and get into the parks that we want to see built. Amanda, why don't you go first?
My idea is a fully immersive park. And I say this based on going to Tokyo Disneysea. They have an area where it's the Little Mermaid, and it actually looks like her castle on the outside, the underwater castle. Mm-hmm. And when you walk in, it looks like you're underwater and part of her world. And I just think it's really cool. And I would love to see a park that is all like that at Disney World. I don't really think we have any immersive parks like that except for Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, but that's a little different.
I would say Galaxy's Edge, obviously, but I think that the Avatar area is pretty immersive.
You're right. I'll give you that. I'm also thinking at Tokyo Disneyland, they have a restaurant that is based on Alice in Wonderland, and you walk in and it feels like you're in the Red Queen's garden. And it's really cool. And there's a lot of lands like that throughout the world that they could just kind of pick up and bring to Disney World, and then they could add a few extra themselves. So they have Cars Land in California, a
Yeah.
California Adventure. They have the Pirates Land at Shanghai Disneyland. So I think they could pull from a lot of what they already have and just kind of bring it to Disney World, and then add a frozen area and make the frozen castle that Elsa makes the central icon of the park.
Yeah,
That'd be
I think
interesting.
that would be really cool. So you're basically saying like these lands that make you feel like you're actually inside of the movie.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you could call the park Edge of Imagination.
Ooh, I like that name.
I do like that name as well.
I think that's a really good one.
Very cool. Emily, what about you? What do you want to see?
Okay, so let me preface this by saying that my favorite value resort is Pop Century. So whenever I was thinking about like a park that I like to see, I thought about Pop Century and how they have like the different decade themed areas. And I was thinking that it would be really cool if you had a Disney Decades park. So like each land in the park takes you like transports you to a different time period. And I was thinking like it could kind of be themed around like IP from the different decades. So like different Disney movies and stuff, but then also just like classic things that happened in that decade. Like I was thinking in the 20s, you could have a Steamboat Willie ride. That would be really cool.
That would be cool.
Yeah, and then like in the 50s, you could have like a soda fountain that looks like a 50s soda fountain. And then just foods and restaurants and merchandise that were themed to Disney, but also around that decade. Like in the 90s, you could have Disney Beanie Babies and even like Disney Tamagotchis for sale. That would be pretty cool, right?
Good idea.
And then I was also thinking like kind of having like larger than life theming as well, kind of like how what you were saying, but just like making it really immersive with just like if you've ever been to Pop Century, they have larger than life theming, and I think that's just like a really cool concept, and I think that that would be neat.
What about an icon for your park?
An icon.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
the castle at Magic Kingdom or the Tree of
Right.
Life at Animal Kingdom.
You're just putting me on the spot here.
I mean, this is part of a park. Come on, Em.
Yeah, but oh man.
It's very important.
Hmm.
And what would it be called? Your park.
Disney Decades.
That's
Disney
a good name.
Decades.
I like that.
That is a good name.
Oh man, but you know, for an icon of the park, I mean, I would need some more thinking on this, but I would love to hear if any of our listeners have any ideas on that.
Great idea.
Or do
Open it
either
up to
of
the
you have
listeners.
an idea?
I don't. Not off the top of my head.
Me either.
I feel like I could come up with something neat, but I would just need more time to think about it. Thanks, Jared.
You're welcome. I guess let's open it up to the listeners. If you have an idea of an icon that Emily can put in her Fifth Gate Park, let us know on social media at T3M Podcast. So, what else would be in your park, Emily, or is that it?
I mean, there would obviously be more. Like each land would have different rides themed to that time period, whether it be like Disney things or just time period specific things. But and like restaurants, same with that. Like I was thinking food and snacks and stuff are also themed around that decade. But yeah, I think it'd be pretty neat. I don't think that Disney is going to take my idea and run with it, but I would if I was Disney.
Well, what I think is really cool about your idea is on Disney Plus, you can go through the Mickey through the decades and
Yeah.
watch him grow and become the character that we know today. So I
Right.
think that would be very cool to add those elements into that park.
Yeah, and kind of like how I was saying, like in the 20s, you could have like a Steamboat Willie themed ride. Maybe like in each land, you could have like the different Mickey of the decade, not necessarily a ride in every land, but like some sort of representation of Mickey.
Or what
A
about
statue or
Yeah.
a ride of Disney or Mickey through the decade? Starting off at
Ooh,
Steamboat Willie and then going to where he is now.
that could be cool.
it could.
And then we get another Mickey ride.
Yeah, I really like that actually.
I may have an idea for your icon, possibly. So, Sleeping Beauty came out in the 50s, right?
Yeah.
So maybe that could be the central part, and you can make like a giant Ferris wheel like that looks like the spinning wheel that she pricked her finger on.
Huh.
That could be interesting.
Just a thought.
I
But-
like it. I'm trying to think because whenever you said Ferris wheel, I know that's kind of like the central icon of California Adventure. So maybe not Ferris wheel specifically, but something that like can somehow incorporate all of the decades into it, but it be like I don't know, guys. That's as far as my thought went.
Good
I
Good
lost
thought.
it. Thanks.
I love that idea.
Yeah, it's well thought out. I love
Thank
it.
you. I would really like to hear ideas from our listeners, though.
I would like to hear ideas from our listeners for all of our parks.
Okay, I want to hear Jared's idea. I'm really curious about this one.
Okay. I'm going to break the rules because I can.
Oh gosh. Okay.
I have 2 ideas.
All right.
The first one is obviously the best one. All Tower of Terror.
Oh my.
Just
Whatever.
just a park and it's all Tower of Terror rides. That's all it is.
Horrible idea.
No, it's an
Nope.
amazing idea.
Wrong.
You have like 7 or 8 different Tower of Terrors. They're all the same. They're built the same. Everything is the same, but you can ride them with very minimal lines. And I love that idea.
Okay, does
Okay,
this
Next
does this
idea.
wait, I'm curious. Are there restaurants or gift shops or anything, or it's just the Tower of Terror rides?
Okay, so there are restaurants, but they're on the ride.
Oh, that would be horrible.
Yeah.
Everybody's gonna be sick. No, I hate this idea.
Next.
You have to eat it all right before you actually drop. Okay, so my real idea is called Pixar Park.
Okay.
And this is a park that takes all of the Pixar movies. I know that there are Pixar related rides and characters spread out through all of the parks at this point,
And
right?
lands.
Yes. But I think being able to take all of the Pixar and put it into one location would be really fun. Also, on top of that, you could bring the elements of how they make Pixar movies and put it into a section and really get people interested, kind of like what they did with like Journey into Imagination. At the end, you come out of the ride and obviously there's a lot of imagination going on, right? You have, well, now they have like a bunch of music and instruments and stuff like that. But I think whenever we were younger, Amanda, I remember you would exit the ride and you could go and you could play with the coconuts on the gravel to make the horse hoof sounds from the Legend of Sleepy Hollow.
I do not remember that at all, but I'll take your word for it.
I do. And this is one of the reasons why I love Journey into the Imagination so much, is because after the ride, you could go out and you could play with all these items and come up with just random stuff. And I really love that. So I kind of want to bring those elements back in a bigger sense. And if we can kind of get kids interested into like the new animation styles and trying to imagine new Pixar movies, I think that would be a fun way to do it.
I really like that idea. And I like the idea of a whole Pixar park because, like, in Disneyland, a California Adventure, they have Pixar Pier. So it's just a small portion of the park, but everything on that pier is Pixar themed. So Pixar movies, all sorts of things like that. And that is my favorite part of the whole entire park. Well, that and Cars Land. But I think it's such a good idea to have a whole Pixar park. I really like that.
Thank you. I really like it as well. So one of the things that I would really like to see in Pixar Park would be like a Coco world.
Oh yeah, I could see how that would be so cool with all the colors and like also just the culture.
Yes.
I think that would be very cool.
I think it would be really fun. And all of the spirit animals that could go along with it.
Yeah.
Also,
that would be cool.
Also, it would be a great time to bring in Monsters, Inc.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Definitely.
I really think that there's a lot of opportunity here for them to build something amazing.
I agree.
Definitely.
And what would your icon be?
So my icon would be the Up House.
Oh.
But the balloons,
I like that.
The balloons are Pixar characters.
Oh.
Amazing.
Jared. That is such a good idea.
Well, I have to give it to Amanda because she helped me come up with it.
Oh, really?
Yes.
It was my idea.
I think that that's such a cool idea. I really like that.
Yeah, I really like that idea too. And as soon as Amanda pitched it, I was like, yeah, that definitely has to be it.
I think that we could join my idea and Jared's idea to make a fantastic park. So make it Pixar, but make it very immersive and everything. And that would be a great park.
Yeah.
You're right.
Disney,
I think your two
hire
would go
us.
together perfectly.
I want Disney to hire us.
Imagineers.
I want to be an Imagineer. I'm telling you, I've been wanting this since I was a child.
Being an Imagineer, me too. Being an Imagineer, I tell Connor all the time, one day I'm going to be an Imagineer. It's going to happen for me, guys. Maybe it'll happen for all of us.
Maybe this is our in.
Exactly.
Disney,
so if you know
contact
anyone,
us.
I feel like we have a portion of every episode where we're asking Disney to contact us.
Yes. But see, Jared and I being Imagineers, we can make Emily an Imagineer too. It'll be fantastic. We'd have this great Pixar park with an up house with balloons. Oh, man. I really want to see this.
The up house with the balloons of all the Pixar characters is seriously my favorite idea I've ever heard.
I think it's a great idea.
Me too.
I do as well. Let us know what you think, I guess, those listeners out there. Get in touch with us on our social media and let us know what you would like to see outside of the Pixar park or the Decades Park or Amanda's Park. I don't remember what you called it.
Edge of Imagination.
Edge of Imagination, that's right. All right. Thank you all for joining us on this trip down memory lane through our favorite top 3 episodes of our catalog. But that's going to bring us into mousekeeping. We would like to promote our YouTube, and you can find that at bit.ly/T3M YouTube. That's bit.ly/T3M YouTube. And that is all lowercase. Make sure you're following us on all social media platforms, and you can find us at T3M Podcast. Again, that's T3M Podcast. Leave us a 5-star written review on Apple Podcast, and we'll read your review on an upcoming episode. If you've already left us a 5-star review, then definitely tell your friends and family about the show. We love to get new listeners, and we would love to interact with everyone.
I'd love to plan your next magical getaway. Whether you're looking for a Disney vacation, Universal vacation, all-inclusive resort, international destination, or a cruise, I'm here to help. Contact me when you're ready for your free, no-obligation quote. And don't forget that my services are complimentary. You can find me on Facebook at Amanda.hollis, Capture the Magic Vacations, or just send me an email at amanda.hollis@capturethemagicvacations.com. You can find my contact information in the show notes.
Join us for our next episode releasing Thursday, the 13th of January. Be sure you're subscribed to the show so that you're updated when a new episode comes out every other Thursday.
That's going to do it for this show. Thank you all for listening. You can also be a part of the magic by following the show at T3M Podcast on all social media platforms. That's T3M Podcast. Leave us a 5-star written review and we'll read it on an upcoming episode. If you have an announcement that you would like to have on the show or just want to reach out to us, you can send us an email at t3mpodcast@gmail.com.
Have a zippity-doo-dah day.
See you real soon.